Well, ladies and gentlemen, burgers, fries and pizzas. Just hearing the names can make your mouth water, but these favorites don't just tease your taste buds, they quietly pile on the calories. So tonight, we say, watch what you eat. In fact, it's not just us who's saying it. UK has taken it in a very different tangent. A burger, watch this, 238 calories. Add fries, another 318 calories. Wash it down with a soft drink, 41 calories more. Feeling Mexican? Tacos, 206 calories. Nachos, 225 calories. Craving Italian? A slice of pizza, 263 calories. Sweet tooth kicking in. Donuts, a shocking 413 calories. Want something cool? A milkshake, 122 calories. Snacking mindlessly. Chicken wings, 261 calories. A pack of chips, a staggering 541 calories. Tonight's message is simple. Watch what you eat, and UK has taken a first step. It's not just a first step, it's a landmark step. From today, the UK has rolled out what it calls a world-leading crackdown on junk food advertising to combat childhood obesity. No ads for foods high in fat, salt or sugar before 9 in the night. That is, if you're watching television of any form during the day till 9 p.m. in the UK, you will not see these advertisements. No paid junk food promotions online at any time. The government says the move will strip 7.2 billion calories from children's diets every year, prevent 20,000 cases of childhood obesity and deliver nearly £2 billion in long-term health benefits. The ban follows earlier measures including an expanded sugar tax on milkshakes, flavored coffees and sweetened yogurt drinks, and new powers for councils to block fast food outlets near schools. Local councils have also been empowered to block fast food outlets from opening near schools. The government says the science is clear. Advertising shapes eating habits, eating early, driving poor diets and long-term health risks. The approach is simple. According to UK, out of sight, out of mind. But here's a twist. The law, originally due to take effect in October 2025, was delayed and amended. While companies can no longer advertise specific junk food products, they are still allowed to advertise their brands. In simple terms, fast food chains can show their logos, colors and brand identity, but not their burgers, fries or milkshakes. No dripping cheese, no sizzling visuals, no appetite appeal. And yet, some may say brands may not suffer much. Some of the most iconic food advertisements never show the food at all. Instead, they sold emotion, storytelling and lifestyle. Back at home, India is also staring at a growing health emergency, one that is silently weighing down its youngest generation. Around 33 million Indian children are either overweight or obese, according to the World Obesity Atlas. Government data from Anganwadi centers under the Poshan tracker shows that nearly 6% of children under 5 are already overweight or obese. This, by all means, may only be a very play down of what may be the real data. UNICEF warns that obesity among children aged 5 to 19 has increased fivefold in recent decades, driven by poor diets, ultra-processed foods and sedentary lifestyles. Among children under 5, obesity has more than doubled, rising from 1.5% to 3.4%. Anganwadi data indicates that India could see obesity rates rise sharply by 2035, putting enormous pressure on families and the healthcare system. As countries like the UK move to clamp down on junk food advertising, the question for India is unavoidable. Well, I'm being joined by a panel of experts at this point. Krishna Kumar, Executive Editor News9 joins us. Hello, Krishna. Good to have you. Dilip Cherian, brand guru and founder, Perfect Relations and Image Group joins us. Thank you very much, Dilip Cherian. Good to see you after a while. Dr. Shikha Sharma joins us, founder, One Health and veteran nutritionist. Thank you very much, Dr. Shikha. Good to see you. Well, a very simple question. Let's just start with you, Dr. Shikha Sharma, because there's a lot that we are seeing on our screen right now. It's just absolute deliciousness and it's absolute bad food. It's junk food. What do you make out of what UK has done? You know, it's landmark in so many ways, but as a dietitian, how do you look at this?
I actually welcome this move, this particular move which UK government is doing, because they're almost losing 11 billion in their by the exchequer because of obesity in their country, and I think it's a very welcome move. Also, because they rightly pointed out that junk food is attractive and the way they present it is like a superstar. So junk food has become a superstar which children want to associate with want to eat. And therefore, this ban is the step in the right direction. Also, I would say that junk food is like legitimized alcohol because it is basically recreational. There is zero nutritional value and it's addictive and it's socially conditioned, what we call as an obesogenic environment. So by removing the obesogenic, some components of the obesogenic environment, which include beautiful displays of food, beautiful advertising, beautiful marketing, I think it is a step in the right direction.
Okay. Dilip Cherian, would you agree? A simple question that everybody is asking, well, the brands are going to advertise. You are going to get the money in a sense that you're not stopping these brands from advertising. It's just that this food that people associate with deliciousness is not going to be on their screens 24/7. One is the advantage which people think will be for the children. How are brands meant to be looking at this, Dilip?
Brands need to recognize that their day of reckoning is now near. It's just that, finance ministers, other ministers are reluctant to give up on the tradition of behaving in a certain way. Countries will all benefit. India is actually going to be a victim because as the European markets and other markets tighten their regulations, there will be a push by these very brands to enter India and to try and capture market share, exactly what happened with the cigarette industry and several other industries. So if I were the finance minister of this country, I would start acting now, as in the budget of 26, and make sure that the sin tax is raised enormously on these products, and that this kind of advertising ban, which we need to see what results will emerge at the end of 6 months as to whether it will actually result in a reduction of consumption. But the whole obesogenic thesis is very, very frightening, and we need to recognize that countries like India, especially with an emerging and bulging middle class, where this is the cheapest food to allow your children to binge on, is hugely dangerous. We are at the point where our population has more children than Europe, England, and other countries. So they are shutting the door after the horse has bolted, but the obesity epidemic is ready to strike in India.
Kumar, how do you look at it? You know, what Dilip Cherian is saying is something that everybody has been warning of in India, and that is the obesity pandemic is right here. It's staring at our face. I mean, it's been the festive season. I have a toddler at home, and I have to admit, over the last 15 days, he's been having sugar in some form every day, though he's been a child who's been off sugar largely in his life. It's not just about sugar. Do you really see what UK has done as landmark?
Okay, I'm going to be a bit of a skeptic over here, because you're talking about science and the basis for which coming to this decision. Scientifically, there's no proven studies that show that once you ban the ads, the obesity rates go down. They did hold some trial studies in London with the same idea to cut down on the advertisements for junk foods, and that really did not affect the obesity rates among children in London. So this is not exactly a completely new move done for the first time. It's been tried and tested before without any proven results, that if you take out advertising, and especially if you take out those images, and that's it, the children are going to be like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. There is no scientific data to actually prove that. There is no study that is actually done that this has had that. So I have a question over the effectiveness of it all. And second, what you mentioned also about the fact that, it's not like no ads go. Their ads go, their brand emblems, logos, and everything go. They just can't show food. It's essentially going to be surrogate advertising at the end of the day. And if you were to take out the entire advertising, the economic impact, Sneha, is around 200 million pounds that British broadcasters will lose, if they lose these advertisements. So when you're doing something like this, first step is how effective is it going to be? What kind of economic impact is going to have? Social impact, we all know, there's no two ways about it. Obesity is an epidemic, be it in the UK or be it in India. We need to ensure a few things like, ability to access affordable, healthy food. That's step number one, if you ask me. And then once you do that, the other things, tend to have take a second place. So for me, I question the effectiveness of this move to ban advertising. So whether it's going to yield the desired results, Sneha.
Dr. Shikha, do you see this yield the desired results? Why I'm asking you this, it's interesting how UK has gone about this. They've made a scorecard. It's not just randomly saying that we're not going to be allowing these foods on the screen. Of course, we are showing you things that are very high on sugar, on fat and all of that. But there are a lot of other things also that UK has put on the banned list. And that also includes cereals. Cereals that are not very high on sugar, that many in India even now think is very healthy to eat in the mornings. How unfortunate, but that's the reality. So a lot of food that otherwise would not be seen as quote-unquote junk is on that list. It seems to be a very systematic way of going about for a country that's very serious about their children in the future.
See, it is important. Let's try to understand that, children are very visual people, and you should see how children, once they see a toy shop, how crazy they go about the toys. And that toy doesn't even last 24 hours. So children by nature are very impulsive, and any advertisement basically goes and targets impulsive behavior. So because kids are already impulsive, they then create a ruckus at home that we want this, we want that, and parents out of guilt bring all these things to them. So what I'm saying is, I think it's a great move in terms of removing the advertisements, because advertisements are very powerful in their own positioning on how they attract buying behavior, number one. Number two, yes, if a lot of products have been removed, but see, when you do something, it is not always that you get everything right in the first, first step. It is an iterative process, and most governments will keep stumbling and moving in that direction. And let's look at tobacco. Tobacco had the same issue, and over the years, we did see that now people do smoke, but there are these places where they can smoke separately. So I think something has to be done. It may not be perfect, but at least there is a start in the right direction, and that's important. That there is a realization that children do not need exposure to bad food, whether it is within their school premises, whether it's on television, whether it's on the internet. So I think that it's not be a perfect step, but it's the right step.
Dilip, can I just come in and here at this point, because what Dr. Shikha said, I want to take it a point further. And it's not just about the food analogy to liquor or smoking, it's also the advertisement per se. India has strong rules about it, about how these companies cannot advertise, active smoking on air, active drinking on air. But you have ways that these brands have figured out to advertise on television. That did not affect the consumption of either of them, I would assume. It's only, states have drawn revenues and revenues, blockbuster revenues year after year from these brands. Wouldn't that apply also for a move like this, where you take away the visual impact of excessive fat, sugar, or the deliciousness associated with this food, but you still allow the brand association strong presence on screen?
Sayed, the worry that I have is not just to do with the sugar or the fat. As all of us know, and Shikha will tell you more, the kind of additives that all these products have to give them the color, the crispness, the glow of these foods is a whole bunch of unmentionable additives which actually go much deeper into the system. Krishna's point about do these bans work? I think we need to look at what the data is. But as somebody who has been doing a lot of work on branding, and as someone who has been on the Advertising Standards Council, let me tell you that the 200 million of loss in revenue that the channels are likely to claim they are losing will be more than made up by the kind of health advantage and the kind of preventive benefits that the state will earn from these moves if they work. Will they work? The jury is out on that. Should these bans be in place? The answer is pretty clear. It goes far deeper than just the seed oils, the other carcinogenic stuff that is actually injected into these foods to make them, shall we say, attractive to the tongue. So,
All right.
Besides the eyes, the real game that begins is when kids put fork to food, and that's when the fun begins. So we need to understand that from the exchequer point of view, this is likely to be positive. From the danger to health point of view, this is definitely positive. From the advertising point of view, as I said, advertisers will push back, will find all kinds of loopholes around this game, but it's up to government to recognize that it needs to be one step ahead of marketers as brilliant as those who are hired to actually get the brands the visibility and the sales they need.
Right. I think we're totally out of time. Krishna, I wanted to come to you for a last question, but I think we'll have to leave it at this. One thing that I think all of us would agree, 2026 is literally an year where we'll have to reimagine how our children are being catered to, how our countries and our societies are going to be catered to in a world where you're being served on your fingertips, literally, where you can just about get anything in a matter of seconds, where you're exposed, bombarded with all kinds of exposures at all seconds. It takes another level of engagement, discernment, and compliance to be able to get together something for a country to move in a very different direction. It's going to be interesting to see what Australia and UK are moving with and what way India can take. Thank you very much, Krishna Kumar, Dilip Cherian, as well as Dr. Shikha Sharma for joining us. Thank you.